It's really fantastic to be talking to you, Magdalena, today. Could you please introduce yourself and what do you do for business?
Hello, hi. Thank you for having me here, first of all. Yes, my name is Magdalena Hanah. I'm a business productivity coach. I'm also an entrepreneur and e-commerce business owner, and mom of a very beautiful 5-year-old boy. Yeah, that's it. I suppose I used to also be an interpreter for quite a while. Right now I'm just doing it for my regular clients, so I'm usually not using that one. But yes, I've got a handful of things that I do.
That's fantastic. How do you look at your life?
How do I look at my life? I mean, I'm always trying to look at it in a very positive way. I'm trying to find as many things to be grateful for. I'm always looking forward to another day, to another opportunity. I tend to keep my mind open, and I'm generally happy, I should say. I'm doing what I love. I'm helping other people, and what is there to complain about?
Fantastic. So the first question is, why have you always been interested in marketing?
Whenever anybody asks me this question, the first thing comes to mind is because I was never really very creative. And that is the only form of art that I would say I'm really good at, because I'm a fairly analytical mind. I'm more of a left brain kind of person, and I see the world in numbers, so I can dissect the most complicated problems. But when it comes to actually being creative, it's something that I've always struggled with. But yes, I think marketing is one of the most important things in our life. We market ourselves every day. We need to be able to do it properly, to be perceived in a certain way, especially if we are in business. That this starts being the essential part of actually the success of the business, I believe. So yeah, this is just a passion of mine. I've always ended up having jobs in marketing, no matter what I did. And I've been in many industries. I've been in real estate, I've been in private banking sectors, I've done interpretations, but there's always been marketing as a side part of what I did. So I suppose I'm just stuck with it.
That's fascinating. How do you analyze or how do you assess marketing?
Well, data. Like I said, I am a left brain kind of person. I always make sure that I follow up in everything that I do. I always, I always run on numbers, and there is no assumptions when it comes to marketing and sales, I believe, and only by actually listening and getting the information in and analyzing it, you are able to determine or make decisions that would, allow you to move forward, or to be stuck in one place, basically.
Tell me about the most difficult decision you have had to take in marketing.
Oh dear, that is a tough question. Most difficult decision. Ha ha ha. Every decision is not easy, especially if you start playing the game on a higher level, I would say. In the beginning, everything is challenging, I would say, until you actually learn the business that you're doing. And with time, your preparation is better, but it doesn't mean that the challenges just disappear. So most difficult decision in marketing for me personally was actually to get out there as a business coach at some point, because I was very happy hiding behind the screen of my computer, or hiding behind the brand that I've created. I didn't necessarily need to be there myself whilst I was doing the business. And being inspired by my own coach, I was told to just go out there, create a personal brand as well, and just finally start putting myself out there. So I would say that was the most difficult part, is to just overcome shyness. I'm naturally, an introvert, so it wasn't so easy in the beginning.
What is the most inspiring decision you have made in marketing?
Many. The most inspiring. Oh, come on. You're asking difficult questions. I think the most inspiring was to even, start. I've actually had 3 businesses by far up until this point. And when I decided to actually, because my first business was a brick and mortar business, it was a dance school, which was running very, very successfully for many years. I would say about 10 years. until I had a massive injury. And I think the most inspiring was to be bold enough and go online with something completely different, because I don't know if you know, my e-commerce business is a beauty accessories brand. It's my own private white labeled beauty brand, as well as dropship products. So I believe the most inspiring was to actually go out there, get a coach, learn everything that I could, and trust me, doing e-commerce, involves all sorts of things that we've never heard about, like coding or writing scripts, or getting in contact with vendors, getting the actual product finished, created, designed. These are the things that were fairly new to me. So I think, just inspiring was the fact that I did it, that I made the decision. Okay, I'm going to go into that digital world. I'm going to see what I can do, and the road wasn't easy, because I've had lots of obstacles on the way. But I'm very, very happy I've made this decision, because today I think the world is going to change, isn't it? After coronavirus, most of the things are going to end up being online ventures. So, hey, at least I had a few years to prepare myself for this.
Fantastic. Now you have, let's say, started or built your a personal brand, individual brand, or individual image in the business. What are your weaknesses and positives or strengths as a business image now?
Right now, at this moment, I am a productivity coach, so I would say, obviously I'm a very organized person. I'm naturally inclined to plan, organize, schedule, and this is what I'm also teaching my clients right now at this moment. Um, I would say my weaknesses are still content creation. Like I said, I am not a very creative person, and even though I do have certain ideas of how to do things, I'm also a perfectionist. So, and perfectionism is the worst thing you can have in business. I swear to God, you lose so much time trying to make things perfect. There are no perfect things. You just need to keep moving. But sometimes we teach that to others, but yet we forget ourselves that, well, we want things to be as best as we can, but obviously that hint of perfectionism sometimes is stopping me as well, I need to say. My strengths, well, I'm quite open, I believe. It's for you to
Yes,
judge.
you are.
I have very good contact with my clients, and my clients feel safe with me, and I have this natural ability of listening carefully and understanding what their problems are, and providing solutions for them that would take them in a quicker way to where they want to go. So I would say this is a huge strength for me, and thank God, because in coaching, I believe this is the most important thing that a person should have.
Before you became a coach, what was the most important, let's say, principle, advice, recommendation that you have had to follow?
For my coaches,
I mean, for being successful, for taking the
for
jump
being
or the next
successful,
step.
is to understand that whenever challenges happen, you should not turn around and just give up. And usually, and this is something that I've heard from my own mentor, is whenever there is a huge struggle in front of you, or a huge obstacle in front of you, that's where the change happens. Yes, that's where the growth occurs. And it is like that. It actually is like that. The bigger the challenge, the bigger the growth. And the more you grow, the more you are able to tackle things in the future, whether it's your personal things or whether it's business wise. So, and you're probably going to ask me about growth now, aren't you?
Certainly. Let's go to another area. You just mentioned that you have had to go across or overcome a lot of challenges to be here. Could you explain some of them?
Yes, absolutely. Well, whenever I try to do something, I'm just thinking, this ties in great with what I just said, with the obstacles and the preparation that we are having. Every single time I've actually figured out that I want to do a business, something really major happened, and I'm not talking business wise, I'm talking life wise, something that could possibly stop me in my tracks whilst I was beginning. So the first time I decided I'm going to open up a business, for example, the first online business, it wasn't the beauty brand yet. I wanted to actually be an Amazon seller. So The first time when I made this decision, I got an eviction notice from my house. And I was with a little baby. My son was born. I think he was about 3 months at that time. So it was quite a scary time. And then just as I've made this decision, I'm laughing because I'm thinking now, looking back at that, it was kind of a test. Like, do you really want this? Are you really going to do that? But yeah, so we've overcome this. The business wasn't running very good. That would be the next obstacle. I didn't have a lot of money because the next time when I decided to actually open up a business, and that was the e-commerce business, I actually unfortunately had a breakup of my relationship with my child's dad. So I ended up having to go back to work, starting from scratch, and at the same time doing my business, in the middle of the night, building the website, contacting vendors, which were mainly based in China. So the time difference was massive. So I was basically for the first 2 years of my business working 24/7, like literally having maybe 2-3 hours of sleep plus a little baby on my hand. So yeah, every single time something happens. And now obviously, when I decided I'm going to do coaching full time, because that was just in the beginning of this year, everybody knows what happened. So
Yeah, fantastic. When someone like from a younger generation or people who are starting their business or just finishing college and then they have met some obstacles and they stopped, what's your reaction?
those 3 steps that are between you and your goal um, are just 3 steps. And whatever fear you might be feeling and whatever challenges arise, there is always a way to solve them. If you think that there is no way to solve them, that means that you need to upgrade your skills or find out something or meet somebody who will show you that it is in fact possible. There are no obstacles or no challenges that you can't solve. Everything, providing that you do have the will and you are determined enough, um, are solvable. And I'm always saying, did you really make a decision? Are you committed to your goals? Because if you are committed, you will do whatever it takes. But unfortunately, there's a lot of people who are only interested, and then they only do what is convenient as opposed to, like I said, whatever it takes. And I believe a mindset shift is the most important thing a person can do for themselves to overcome those obstacles. Because it's only in your mind. There is, if you're healthy, providing you're healthy, you have a roof over your head, and you have right now an internet connection, I suppose everything is good, and you should be very, very grateful because the world is, open.
Okay, let's go ask another question here. What are the requirements for a good mind shift?
Oh, repetition, repetition, repetition. Um, Finding yourself a good mentor, I would say, because this has completely changed the game for me. I thought for a longest time, I thought that I can do everything myself, and the stubbornness wasn't actually taking me very far. Thankfully, I've had my own techniques, which I developed throughout the years, those that I'm teaching right now to other people. But if it wasn't for my mentors and my coaches and the ability to go and actually physically call somebody and at the moment of disbelief or struggle, so that would be one. Second, like I said, well, it's work. Whatever change you want to make in your life, it requires work. It requires repetition. Our minds are built in such a way um, that you need to repeat things in order for them to go into your subconscious mind and become the habits. So automated things that you're going to be doing. Also, why is it important? It's important to change your perception, because the way you perceive the world is actually going to be your life, kind of. It's if you're going to focus on the struggles, if you're going to focus on the negativity, this is actually what you're physically going to get. I'm a huge believer in law of attraction, working with the laws of the universe, and this is part of my work is actually based on spirituality, largely based on spirituality. But mindset, well, the best way to change your mindset is to actually start being grateful, is to start focusing on good things, is knowing your objective, knowing what you want to achieve, and kind of trying to put yourself in a place. If I want to be here in A, B, or C, what do I need to learn, or who do I need to be in order to be able to be in synchronicity with that place, where I want to be. And after you find out what it is, just trying to work on developing yourself to be that person. So mindset, you know that success in business is 80% mindset and only 20% tactics. So you can learn a lot of things, but if your perception is negative and your attitude is lousy, I don't think you're going to go very far, because the energy that we have inside of ourselves, that's the energy that we send to others, and that's the energy that comes back to us. So had I not understood that along the way, I would probably not be fortunate enough to meet lovely people that were just in the right place and the right time to help me go further to where I wanted to go.
Fantastic. Now you have mentioned the word coach and mentor more than once. How important are coaches and mentors currently?
Very, very. Just because, that there's been some studies made recently that 87% of the world is now either severely stressed or in a moderate degree stressed. People are not coping well with the anxiety. The situation is scary, so it's absolutely understandable. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know where this is going to lead us. How long is this going to take? How is the world going to look like afterwards? And like I said, in the moments of my worst moments, of my biggest challenging moments, just having that coach to talk to. And I don't mean, talking to your friend, because, friends will always talk to you from the perspective of how they see themselves and how they would help themselves, not necessarily the way they could help you. Whereas a coach is educated and experienced of helping people, specifically targeting their problems. So they always know what to say and how to say it in order for you to regain that confidence, regain that positive mind, and just keep the action. Yes, so keep going towards your goals, because ultimately that's what we need to do. We need to take massive action in order to get ourselves to where we want to be. Nothing comes for free, and I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but just having that support of a mentor or a coach makes it a lot more bearable, should I say, or a lot more that support builds you up and helps you to get there quicker and better and with less stress.
So now you mentioned taking massive steps. Number two, you mentioned the coach support. Number three, we have technology and we have science and we have knowledge. Why are people failing to be able to embrace their own nature and embrace their own positives and move forward by their own themselves, I mean?
Yes, and again, I would say focus. Mainly focus is because, there's a huge awakening going on. There's a lot of people now acknowledging that a lot, like I said, a lot comes from your mind, and the perspective that you've got is due to the thoughts that you're thinking, largely the majority of your day. But we are human, and as humans, we are influenced from outside energy sources, other people, the situation, the economy, and a lot of people still choose to focus on those as opposed to inside themselves. So the difference between a person that is very successful and a person that will not follow through with what they are supposed to do is the person who puts more attention on what is going on outside of them as opposed to what is going on inside.
You mentioned like external factors. Could you explain a little more on these?
Well, yes. I mean, for example, coronavirus right now. I even found myself in the very beginning listening to the news. I'm the kind of person who hasn't watched TV, believe it or not, for the past 5 years. I have not turned the TV on. I don't listen to the radio. I mean, I read. I love reading books. Mainly those are books, of personal development or business subjects. But I tend to not want to get the negativity in from, because when you watch the news, 99% of it is going to be negative, isn't it? So if I choose to, consciously not to get that kind of energy inside of myself. But yes, but I found myself in the beginning of coronavirus reading every bit of news, how many deaths, how many people got sick and what is going on, and it's now here, it's now there. And at some point I noticed, because it lasted, I think, for about 7 days, and I didn't comprehend I'm actually doing it until I started feeling physically sick. I was actually physically sick. I started to get a runny nose. I was run down. I had very little energy. And it's amazing how that works, because it was just 7 days. But imagine what might other people be feeling, those that have it on a daily basis, non-stop from everywhere, the radio, the other people talking about it, television. And because, at least 70% of our society spends majority of their free time in front of a television, and even more so now, because we're you know when we were in lockdown, everybody was actually doing it. So if that was the physical reaction I was having after 7 days, imagine what is going on in the minds of majority of people who are doing it consistently. Like I said, repetition creates habits, and habits are just automated things that we do without thinking.
Yeah, let's go to another area, your business, Peka Peka Beauty. Yeah, what is the business model for that?
Right, so Pika Pika, I'm going to say it's
Yeah,
got
fine,
Pika
okay.
Pika. That's a Latin, that's a Latin name for magpie.
Yeah, let me say it. Say it again. Pika Pika. Is that correct?
Absolutely. So sorry. What would you like to know about the business?
Yeah. Well, what is the model? How did you build this business? How does it work?
Right, and like I said, it's e-commerce. So I've actually started out Pika Pika as a white labeled product business. So I actually went into the to the actual vendor. I've created the product with them, and I was ordering in bulk the product with my logo, cut exactly the way I wanted it. It was actually a set of makeup brushes, very beautiful. I think it's still available on the shop. But then I expanded, because it was quite a lot of hassle of storing all of the products, sending it to people, and dealing with that sort of things. And at some point, my little flat in London looked like an absolute warehouse, So I just decided, no, I need to do something about this. I can't live like this. And I expanded the business for dropship products, which means that I'm not actually physically touching the products anymore. The products are stored elsewhere, and there's, I think, right now 5 warehouses where the products are being stored, and it's just being automatically sent to my customers whenever they make an order. So I'm basically not really doing much these days when it comes to Pika Pika. The only thing is customer service. Sometimes if some problems arise, for example, there was a lot of problems with shipments due to coronavirus, so I had to step in. But generally these are other people, and I'm just not doing anything. It just runs itself automatically. So that's how it looks like at the moment.
What were the criteria for creating your product?
For my first product, you mean the initial product for Pika Pika? It had to be a set, because like I said, it was makeup brushes, so it had to be a set that would contain every single thing that a woman needs for normal daily makeup. So I've went to my friends. I started doing research, started asking questions. What do you use on a daily basis? What would you need if you had a perfect set of makeup brushes? What would that be? And based on that, I had to create something that the people wanted. But also, what was very important for me is because those brushes are actually partly from animal hair, so it had to be cruelty-free sourced, and majority of those brushes were still synthetic due to certain requirements in United Kingdom. I had to get FDA approval, all sorts of things that made it quite challenging. But in the end, we settled for part synthetic, part animal hair, and this kind of went through just fine. It had to be good for use. So like I said, it had to have all of the things that the woman needs. It had to be ecological, cruelty-free, sourced, and and nice and cuddly when you put it to your face. That was another requirement that I had. It actually had to be, you know, really soft and really nice to the touch.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Why did e-commerce suit you?
I'm geeking out on technicalities because I'm analytical and because e-commerce is largely based on you spending time reading data, as opposed to actually, you know, you can hide behind the safety of your computer, and majority of the business is, like I said, building websites, coding, reading data, you know, analytics. This was something that kind of, you know, got me excited. You know, however weird that might sound for some people, you know, the most boring things you can find, actually I found them really, really thrilling and really exciting, because I knew I'm building something from nothing and this is completely mine. And just the thrill of creating something from zero was the thing that kept me going in e-commerce. And it is a very satisfying model because of its ability to be fully automated. So that is also, you know, that was also very important in my busy life when I had other things. I was, like I said, I was also an interpreter, just running around and helping people communicate, and that requires quite a lot of traveling. Plus, you know, I wanted to give some time to my son. So I thought, you know, this is a perfect model that I don't have to put too much time in. Of course, now that everybody who wants to do e-commerce, don't think that you just sit down, you click your fingers and it runs. Before I was able to fully automate it, it was about 2 years of really hard work. But it is quite a quick and simple business model if you are providing that you are interested in all the technicalities behind it.
How fulfilling was the moment when you saw your first product?
Oh, it was amazing. When I first, oh yeah, when I remember I was waiting quite a long time because it was actually shipped by sea, which takes approximately 40 days if you have a really large shipment. And I remember it was, I think my first one was 3,000 sets of brushes. They were in like really nice cylinder cases. So I think it was about 9 boxes full of makeup brushes. And I remember them coming through my door. Opening up the first box and just touching it and just thinking, my God, it's like my child, you know. I've created this. This is all my doing, you know. Obviously this was not created by my own hands, like literally, but everything, every part of the design process I was involved in. So even, you know, the way they were cut, the way that the handle looked like, the materials, the colors, everything was absolutely mine. And I've never felt more proud. I honestly haven't. I don't remember any other moment except for perhaps, you know, holding my child for the first time that was as thrilling as this.
Yeah, that's so passionate.
Ah, it was a beautiful set. And, you know, if you're in, you know, you understand you're in business. When you create something, it's like I said, it's like your child. You just want to nurture it. You just want to help it grow, you know. And that first moment where you actually see results of your work are just amazing. And this is, I believe, what drives every single entrepreneur. You know, the first results, the first clients, the first product. This, this is what we live for. This is what we basically, you know, this is what we wake up for every single day.
That's amazing. Okay. What is the importance of planning and the consistency?
Without planning, you are not able to know where you're going. So the first thing I always teach people is awareness of where you're going and awareness of where you are. Without that, how are you supposed to know where you are actually going? It's like sitting in a car and expecting the GPS, the satellite, to tell you where you're supposed to go without putting the address in. You know, and then being very surprised that the car is just standing and not going anywhere. It's not providing any details. But planning always starts with knowing where you want to go, and then reverse engineering the steps that you will need to take in order to get there. And consistency, well, that one should be obvious. You know, if you are not going to put in the work, if you are not going to continuously by repetition do the sometimes mundane perhaps tasks and steps, you are not going to achieve that. People who achieve massive success are not the ones who are just sitting and thinking about their dreams, those are the ones that are actually going out there, and doing.
What is your mantra?
Right. The only way to success is growth. And I believe that if we're not growing, we're not living. I have this theory that as long as, even in amongst, like I said, even in the most difficult times, as long as I'm learning something, as long as I'm expanding as a human being, as a mother, as a business owner, or as a friend, in any of those ways, I'm very happy and I'm very satisfied. And the worst thing that I could think of ever in my life is just becoming stagnant, and just not doing anything, just sitting down and not evolving anymore. That is something that terrifies me the most. I think growth is life, and this is what I'm trying to give to my clients as well. Whenever I see them growing, and whenever I see sometimes very difficult things that they're facing, and me explaining into them, and then they going and overcoming those obstacles, the happiness on their face, and the ability of actually being better prepared for the next situation of that sort is this is success to me. Seeing the growth and growing myself, this is the definition of success.
Okay, growth until when? Until what age?
We never stop. We never stop. Just as we never stop learning, we should never stop growing. I mean, as long as you're learning, you're going to grow, obviously. I don't think you should always sit down and come from the place of knowing everything and just thinking that, okay, I can't expand any further. There's always space to grow. So once you stop doing that, you're either going to be, you know, you're going to start complaining. You're going to start, actually, when you're not growing, you're reverting. That's what I would say. If you're not growing, if you're not going forwards, you're going backwards. And there is no sitting down in one place. If you decide to stop growing and you think that you know it all now, you're not going any further. That's the moment that you've lost. Actually, that's the moment that you're going to revert back. And whatever results you've been having up until now are going to decline. That's just my personal opinion. Someone might not perceive it that way, but that's what I believe. Never stop.
Are all people prone to growth?
Yes, providing that they do make a decision, that's something that they want to go for. Obviously, this is not the case with everybody. Like I said, everybody is prone to growth. Not everybody is choosing to do so. There's a lot of people that just live their lives on the bare minimum and not really wanting anything more. And that's fine if they're happy in that situation. That is their decision. But everybody can grow, providing that as long as you can dream, that's when you can grow. As long as you have any goals, any dreams, any aspirations, sorry,
That's okay.
aspirations, that means that you are actually able to get there. You are able to fulfill them, but you do need to work on that path, and alongside, like I said, grow on the path to reaching your goals. Yes, everyone is prone.
Let's look at your clients. How do you decide the best way forward for them?
First of all, I need to know where they are. Remember, I said about the awareness. Sometimes people are not necessarily aware of where they are, believe it or not, or it's very hard for them to actually assess of where they are. And that takes a lot of listening in the beginning. I think the initial session and the first coaching session is usually me not talking, which is horrible, by the way. I love talking. I love the sound of my own voice. Listening and just trying to find out where they are, what it is that they want to do, or where it is that they want to go. And like I said, reverse engineering, back from their goal. I'm fortunate enough to be working with people's businesses, and I'm so blessed that people are able to trust me enough to trust me with that very important asset. but we need to kind of establish first what is the objective, where are we able to go, and just trying to be I'm not talking about where we want to go in 10 years. We want to be realistic. We want to know where they want to go during the coaching sessions. So we establish what three things that they want to achieve through my coaching, and kind of, like I said, reverse engineer back for the steps that they need to take in order to get there. So good. So far so good. You know, everyone has been very pleased with the results, and usually they exceed what they actually set up for themselves, because that awareness also means that, you know, when you grow, the awareness expands. So usually, more often than not, my clients are not able to see how far they're able to go at the beginning of the coaching sessions.
Let's get back to a difficult side of your work. How do you react to negative criticism or negative feedback?
I cry. No, of course, I'm joking. Um, well, you know, when you go into business, and I've been in business for, I think, 16 or 17 years now. So that's quite a long time. It In the beginning, it is hurtful. I'm not going to lie. You know, every single opinion, like we're just human, yes. And I'm quite emotional, especially after becoming a mum. You know, I was taking things, you know, personally whenever I heard them, but you just need to take it that not everybody's going to love you. Not everyone is going to like what you do. Not everyone is going to like the way you present yourself. Not everybody is going to resonate with your message. So there will always be people that will have negative comments or will try to bring you down because perhaps their results are not as high as they would wish, you know, and because of people run on jealousy. So a lot of times, you know, when you look at someone's success, you know, and you start comparing yourself to that person, you think that perhaps they just received it like that, you know, that there was no work behind it. And I'm trying to be mindful that a lot of times negativity comes from sadness, you know, inner sadness and lack of confidence. So I'm trying to be compassionate, you know, as opposed to attacking. I don't attack people back, you know. I'd rather get into a conversation and try and get to the bottom of what that person might be thinking, and why it is that they don't resonate with my message. But at sometimes it's not even possible, so I just leave it alone. Just, you know,
Yeah.
meditate. I meditate a lot to get rid of those as well. Yeah, like I said, not everybody's going to like it, and you just need to deal with it. If you decide to go into business, that's kind of part of it. That's the package, isn't it?
Yeah. So let's look at the opposite angle. How do you up-level productivity?
By careful planning. Every single Sunday I sit down and I do my tasks for the week. And what is important, I've learned now throughout the processes that I do, what is a priority, what is actually the thing that I need to focus on. Because what I always say to people, and I've actually I think, no, I did not. But yeah, that there's a quote that I usually use is focus on the end goal. That's what all of the coaches are usually saying, right? But focus your attention on the things that you need to do right now. That's what I've added for myself. Because what people forget is that they're kind of focusing on something that is so far away that they forget what they actually need to do now. So yeah, I plan every single Sunday. I prioritize my goals, and I'm focusing only on the things that are going to give me results right now or are going to push me further to where I want to go. Also, what I would do is I have this rule that if I don't close a project throughout the week, I do not undertake any other project. So before I move forward to something else, I need to close the project that I'm working on. And you know what usually comes up is, you know, when you're sitting on a project, there's like this pops up, you know, another thing shows up, or another idea comes to your mind. What I do is I try to not distract myself with this. I always have something that I call an idea planner, and I always just put the notes down in my idea planner. And when I do have the time to tend to this, or there are no other more urgent things to deal with, that's when I tackle all the other tasks that come up. So planning and being mindful on what you need right now, to avoid the confusion. How many I've got a lot of clients that have the tendency of sitting on every single training, every single course, everything that shows up online. They're there, every challenge. That's like they finish one challenge and they go to another one, or they don't even finish one and then just move forward to another one, and that creates confusion. This is not necessary. So in my work that I do with my clients is we focus on self-accountability and being able to distinguish what it is that you need to focus on, as opposed to focusing on everything.
As a professional coach, what are your tools and techniques?
Well, I'm actually working on my own framework, and I've got something that I call the 5 calendars, and those 5 calendars are within the framework of mindset, action set, spirituality. So the framework that I'm working with, every single one of them is kind of responsible for a different part of you that you need to boost your productivity and your creativity. Surprisingly enough, that actually works twofold. And well, like I said, the repetition. I do a lot of meditations. I create a lot of meditational audios, hypnosis. I work with the silver method. So I'm trying to work with the mind of a client from a very deep perspective, trying to get them to higher levels of consciousness, getting them to work on their focus, because focus is the most important thing in productivity. If you are not able to just focus on the task, how are you supposed to do it consistently with repetition? And that's what we want to do. So there's a lot of tools and techniques that kind of go into that, but I would say the 5 calendars is the most important thing, and that's the productivity calendar, the gratitude calendar, that's the spam calendar, which is responsible for all of your negative thoughts and working on reframing the negative thoughts. There's also the ideas calendar, and yes, also just I write like a crazy person. If you looked at my office, most of it is notebooks and calendars, and I write, I rewrite, I try to remember every single thing, and I think this is one of the best things that you can do to kind of train your memory. Just write things, whatever comes to your mind, just write it, then rewrite it, then tweak it. And that's one of the techniques that I use.
What else would you like to say?
That it was very, very lovely to meet you today. I think I would encourage young people, because this is the best time. I remember when I finished my studies, I was full of ideals and full of energy. I mean, I'm not very old, but I'm 36 now. I kind of look at things differently. But this is the best time if you are deciding to do a business. Don't just throw yourself into the business. Prepare, plan, think what it is that you want to do, because otherwise you're just not going to have a sense of direction, and it's going to take you a lot longer. So if I'm supposed to leave you with one productivity tip or tweak, it's planning prevents the confusion that happens later on, and as a result you're actually going to achieve things quicker, more efficiently, and with less stress, essentially, because that's what we want to do. Yeah, and if you are interested in finding out about techniques, visualization, mindset tricks, or anything about business, just follow my Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Magdalena Hanah, and Hanah with a 1 and an H.
Yeah, it has been extraordinary talking to you, Magdalena, today. I'm really honored.
Thank you very much. I'm so sorry for my energy levels, but like I said, it's been so hot for the past 2 weeks. I think I'm just trying to survive now. It needs to get a little bit colder.
It has been great talking to you, really.
But it was a pleasure, likewise. Thank you so very much.